thought I was. Oh, I don't know. I guess I'm just different. How are you, folks? Welcome on a Thursday. Great show for you today. A little news up front, and then we have an interview I did with Kash Patel, who's only the head of the FBI now. He was plugging a book a year and a half ago or so. We had him on the show, and we want to run it again because it gives you a good feel of who he is, what's important to him, and you'll get a good idea of how he doesn't play around. And he's not going to turn the other cheek, I don't think. It's a great interview. He's likable. He grew up in Queens, and it's an American story. And he's just played hockey, and got thrown out for slashing. No, just a really smart guy and a great pick in my opinion. So we'll have that up in a few minutes. Let's get to the news, shall we? Cartel IED kills Texas rancher and his wife, I believe. Texas border rancher, an IED. Did you hear that, folks? An IED. That's an improvised exploding device. So don't think, that Mexicans aren't smart. They're good with their hands. Probably involved a hubcap and... What, Nick? What are you saying? Oh, I don't know. A Texas border rancher was killed near the border on the Mexican side by a suspected cartel IED earlier this month. And we didn't hear about it, so it makes me think that the U.S. military is going, well, let's think long and hard about what we do. The Texas Department of Agriculture told the Post Tuesday as officials issued an urgent safety warning for the Rio Grande Valley and
Danger, Will Robinson.
People that
Danger.
live there.
No, Will Robinson. Danger.
Shut it. Rancher Antonio Cepedas. The Red Sox had a guy named Cepedas who played originally for the Cincinnati Reds. Hall of Famer, by the way. Can't remember his first name, but he's a great hitter. This is middle name. I forget that, Mexicans have 11 names. Antonio Cepedas Saldarna, God damn it, 74 years old, who worked on both sides of the border, along with Horatio Lopez Pena, used to be a catcher for the Mets, were killed in the blast, and Tamaulipas. Say it, Dallas. Tamaulipas? Yeah, Tamaulipas.
Tampon lupus.
There you go. You ever get tampon lupus? Boy, you got to rinse those things. We're not making fun of this guy. We're just having fun. This is how I deal with tragedy in Mexico. What did you say, tampon?
A tampon lupus.
A tampon lupus. Mexico's. Just south of Brownsville. That'll clear it up for you. Texas. Not Brooklyn, where Mike Tyson grew up. Lopez's wife, a nympha. Oh, my God. If I ever met a nympha, I'm going to marry a nympha. She's a nympha. A nymphomaniac. You didn't get the first one? A nympha, Griselda Ortega, was hospitalized. It's amazing how I can pronounce some of them like I grew up there, and then others I just want to rush through. She was hospitalized with injuries. So.
No come mierda, sarna y puta.
¿Qué te estás haciendo ahora?
That's her arguing with the doctor. They wanted to sedate her. She's like, I'm a badass. What are you talking about? Texas Agriculture Commissioner Sid Miller said the attack is part of and I quote, growing threat posed by cartel activity along our southern border, unquote, and encourages ranchers to exercise extreme caution in the area. I'm pretty sure they've been doing that for a while, I would think. I encourage everyone in the agricultural industry to stay vigilant. Anybody else, we don't care about. If you work in garment industry or hairdressers, go fuck yourself. Remain aware of their surroundings and report any suspicious activity to law enforcement. Additionally, you can avoid dirt roads in remote areas, refrain from touching unfamiliar objects that could be explosive devices or blow-up dolls. What? No. Cut. Hey. Limit travel to daylight hours, stay on main roads, and avoid cartel-controlled regions. All what we call common sense tips. But, I mean, me and Dallas were discussing because It's funny, man. There'll be people, online going, "You won't believe the weapons that these drug cartels," and some of them, they've made, here or whatever we sold to them, or not us. I don't think. I mean, other drug people. But the point being, they think they have a chance against the U.S. military. I just want to let that sink in.
Well, yeah, to address the first bit, Fast and Furious was actually funneling a ton of weapons.
That's
to
right.
the area.
I thought you meant the movie. I was going to go, "What are you, an asshole? I hate that guy, Vin Diesel." That's right, the Fast and the Furious. We were sending, under Obama's administration, we were sending them guns, right? Think about that. Why is Obama still walking around? And his jerk-off, can't even think of the general attorney.
Holder.
Thank you. Attorney General Eric Holder, dickweed. But yes, so they do have, but we didn't sell them any Black Hawk helicopters, or Chinooks,
A-10s or
F-16s or
Apaches.
Apaches or Skittles or Gumby THC dolls. What? Anyways, so yeah, go ahead. Fuck around and find out, as we say over here. I'm going to have that tattooed in Latin on my pee-pee. Okay, the first half of the word. So, yes. Anyways, again, not making light of the people who died, but if you're inviting the American military, you picked on the wrong military, okay? You can say a lot of stuff about this country, and as bad as Obama and Biden tried to damage it, the military, even at its worst, is best in the best military. End of story. Anyway, somebody who might know about this is Kash Patel, recently appointed director of the FBI. So don't mess with me. I get friends in high places, although he probably doesn't remember doing the show. But anyways, had a great sit down with him, and we thought we'd show this now because he's a big shot. All right. So here is our guest, Kash Patel. Our guest today, I think he should be the new Dos Equis guy, one of the most interesting men in the world. Kash Patel. I'm going to go through his resume real quick, folks, okay, just to give you an idea what kind of fellow this is. 2014, he was hired as a trial attorney, United States Department of Justice National Security Division, where he simultaneously served as a legal liaison to the Joint Special Operations Command. During this period, he was embedded with a special mission unit at a secure facility, and in 2015 received accommodation from the CIA. 2017, Patel was appointed senior counsel on counterterrorism at the House Select Committee on Intelligence. He was an aide to Devin Nunes, who chaired the House Intelligence Committee. I think he actually wrote the memo. That's an understatement. I might be wrong. During which Patel played a prominent role in promoting Republicans' discreditation in the investigation into Donald Trump's Russian interference, in particular connections with Trump campaign in Russia. He was the primary author of Nunes' memo, which alleged that the FBI was biased against Trump. Also, principal deputy to the acting director of National Intelligence, directorate at the United States National Security Council, acting director of the CIA agency to replace Gina Haspel, and in November was made chief of staff to acting secretary of defense Christopher C. Miller. Come on. Now let me tell you my resume. University of Maine, Business Administration, 2.4. I cheated off guys that look just like Kash and still only get a 2.4. Anyways, Kash, thanks for joining us. And
thanks so much for having me in that generous introduction. And look, you've got an audience that people can't buy. So I think you're doing okay.
I appreciate that, man. We're slugging it out here. We need shows like this because, as you know, the First Amendment shrinking by the minute with these bums. But my first question: why are you Indo-Aryan guys so smart?
You're going to have to blame my parents for that because they were like, "You're not going in the military. You're going to education. You're going to school, and if you don't come home with A's, we're gonna have some problems." So it was degree, law school, and all that stuff. The immigrant dream, as they would say. You got to get an education.
I'm telling you. And by the way, he's the same. I did my research. Same type of Indian as Mahatma Gandhi. One of the good ones. Whatever. Speaking of you were there, along Trump's side, trying to uncover this deep state thing. I'll get into today's news in a few minutes, but I was going to ask you, I wrote this last night, what's the latest on the Durham report? And then we had sort of breaking news today about this Igor Danchenko arrested in a Durham Spygate probe. How is this? First of all, he was working at the Brookings Institute like 10 years ago. How do you let a Russian into a think tank?
Well, you have people like Fiona Hill, who was eventually going to work in the Trump administration and work against the Trump administration and falsely portray me as a Ukraine spy. That Fiona Hill connected Danchenko to Christopher Steele. Let me just break it down for you as the guy who led the Russiagate investigation under Chairman Nunes. Look, we found out, as you know, it's cataloged in this great movie, The Plot Against the President, which everybody has to watch if they haven't seen it, because it's all coming full circle now. All trains lead to John Durham. Christopher Steele, hired by the DNC to perpetuate the biggest fraud in presidential history with false information. The FBI knew it was false and submitted it to a FISA court. Okay, part one. Part two of the act, accountability. John Durham. Why is it taking so long? Because this stuff takes time. As a former federal prosecutor who used FISA and used these and put these cases together, what did he do? He's on his third indictment now. He already indicted the FBI guy for lying to the federal court about Carter Page. He already indicted Michael Sussman, the guy who was paid millions of dollars by the DNC and the Hillary campaign to perpetuate this fraud. And oh, by the way, who does he indict now? The man that Christopher Steele paid to get his false information to the FBI. Literally, Christopher Steele's source for the garbage information he said was true from Russia is now indicted 5 times over for lying to the FBI. That's where we are with John Durham and more.
Who's the FBI guy specifically he indicted already?
What was that guy's name? I can't believe I'm blanking on it.
Lying ass.
But he was a mid-level lawyer.
Mid-level lawyer. Jacoby and Myers.
Yeah.
We'll just throw that out. Anyways, okay, that's interesting. Then you have this Russian guy today, so that broke. Real quick question before I move on. How much would you like to punch Adam Schiff in his face?
You can ask me that after I'm done testifying before the January 6th committee nonsense, which is a whole nother reason why we got to talk about fightwithcash.com. We'll get to that. But Adam Schiff, I will tell you this on your radio show. He is the biggest circus animal on planet Earth. That guy has perpetuated the biggest fraud in United States history with the willing media. I think he is as culpable as Christopher Steele and these guys that are currently being indicted, because he went up to the microphone day after day, month after month, and said, I've seen the collusion. I can't tell you about it, but I've seen it. Well, Mr. Schiff, where is it? It doesn't exist, and now we know it's fraudulent.
And I noticed he disappeared after all that was disproven for a while, and then he comes out from under his rock lately, and he's starting to get cocky again. He makes me ill. He's psychotic. He's not just biased. He's psychotic, in my opinion. Anyways, what else did I want to ask? Oh, let's say the White House, let's say the Republicans win back the White House in 2024. Don't we have to purge? And I don't know how you do this, because I don't know how long it takes to train and replace people. But the FBI is still filled with anti-Trump vermin, isn't it? Don't we have to purge the DOJ?
I'll say about that. I mean, Rick Grinnell and I, look, I was a DOJ attorney. Rick Grinnell and I were running the intelligence community at ODNI. I was his principal deputy. It's doable. You can do it. And where it has to start is not just the leadership, but the 1, 2, 3, 4 levels below the leadership, the assistant secretaries, the undersecretaries, the chiefs. Once you fix that, I know from my 16 years in government that the overwhelming majority of people that serve do so to serve. I work with them. I know that. But the corruption is at the top right now.
Right.
You can believe it. It's at the Mark Millies of the world, the Lloyd Austins, all these people. And look, here's the thing I tell people. We have a bench. We Republicans have the right bench in place. They're there. Where the Trump administration, probably the only place I'll fault my former boss and friend, is that he relied too heavily upon the establishment base to put forth people like Rod Rosenstein and Chris Wray, who are total frauds and hacks. But the guys exist. He goes back, I go back. We're there for him. And this time we're going to get it right. But the midterms, we got to keep our eye on the midterms. I think we're going to take both houses. And we're going to do so because of reporting that you're focusing on right now. Americans are starving for accountability, especially when it comes to Russiagate. and things like that.
Absolutely. Don't you think Trump relied on the wrong people because he was a novice when it comes to politics? Or
Well,
no?
he was never in government, right? He
Right.
ran one of the world's most successful organizations, and if he said X, people did X. In
right.
government, you don't necessarily have that, but you have to have the right team in place. You got to have the Rick Grenells, the Johnny Ratcliffes, the Devin Nunes's, right? The Mark Meadows, Jim Jordans. The list goes on.
Yeah.
You got to have those soldiers in place, and it took us a while to get break through the logjam, because if you remember when Devin and I were first investigating this, they all thought we were out of our mind. They were like,
I do
"These guys
remember
are
that.
total hacks."
Right.
And they came after us personally, and they defamed us and deplatformed us.
Yep.
And that's why we started suing to clear our names from defamation cases. I'm suing Politico, The Times, and CNN. And I'm helping other people sue for their day in court at Fight with Cash. So we started a movement, and we're not stopping.
We're talking to Kash Patel, and who do you hire when you need a lawyer? Who do you hire?
Hey, as
Represent
a former lawyer,
yourself, yeah.
that's the whole point, right? So this is what it started as, right? It started as they were coming after me, and then, they started making fun of me, whatever, I can take it. I'm a guy from Queens. No problem. A career hockey player. I got it. But then they started putting out false information. I'm Trump's Ukraine whisperer. I said, you know what? Time to fight back. So I sued him. And Devin has this great tour called the Nunes Freedom Tour that goes around the country. And we go to every state, and we drop in and we talk to the local community. You know what they say? I've been defamed. I've been deplatformed, but I don't know a good lawyer, and I don't have the money. So I was like, you know what? I'll start fightwithcash.com with a K. And what I'm doing is raising money so that everybody who's been defamed or platformed can have their day in court. We're going to pay for it, and we're going to send your lawyers into court, and we're going to publicize the information. And I'm not going to, and I also, look, after January 6th, after Adam Schiff decided to hit me with this vendetta subpoena that he hit me with, I got to spend $100+ on lawyers. So I need everyone's help at Fight with Cash to help support me and America clean up the media. And we put out tons of free content. My show's on there, Cash's Corner. You want to do a Durham deep dive? It's already up. I interviewed Rick Grenell. It's coming, so we'll have some fun.
There you go. Go to that, folks, if you want education and how corrupt it's getting. Boys and girls, as you know, I'm still doing stand-up. That's right. Started in 1946. And if you want to see where I'll be, and I'm more relevant than ever because of the politics, go to nickdip.com, click on the tour button. There you see it, April 25th, Cohoes Music Hall, which is one of the oldest theaters in the country, Cohoes, New York. And then May 15, do you believe I'm plugging stuff for May already? May 15 and 16, Zanies in Rosemont, Illinois. That might seem like a long time away. Blink your eye, we're going to be at the All-Star break. Anyways, also, if you want to support the show, go to the merchandise page. We got hats, baseball shirts, mugs, caps, brassieres, hip pads, pasties. I designed those last night in the garage. Get those. Also, you can watch full episodes of my show and Louder with Crowder and all exclusive Rumble content. You can watch it ad-free with one subscription. So join Rumble Premium and enter promo code MUGCLUB, that's one word, to get $10 off an annual subscription. It's a great deal. Do it today. Without any further ado, back to our discussion with Kash Patel.
Hi, good night, everybody.